Zach Duket, welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the Eventacle community. It's great that you've joined, and just thought this would be an opportunity for you to kind of make yourself known in the community, and a chance for everyone to get to know you and kind of why you joined and a bit about your background. So maybe we'll start there.
Yeah, sure. I currently work at a company called AudienceView. It's a ticketing software company. I've worked here for just over 5 years now. Was working in a box office prior to that, so that's kind of how I got my into the ticketing industry. I live in Duluth, Minnesota, so it's a balmy 38 degrees here. I don't even want to ask Mike what temperature it is in Phoenix. But yeah, I just really wanted to join the community to interact with others, whether it's in the ticketing industry or outside of that. I think it's really good just from an event marketing perspective to understand all that goes into putting on successful events and keeping customers happy and making sure they have a good experience. So just looking to kind of network with everyone and kind of learn what everyone else is doing.
I feel like your career has been split in half. We do go back a bit, and so I have the benefit of knowing your background a bit. What are the things you've noticed most being kind of on a vendor side, and then being on the event side? I guess tell me about kind of that juxtaposition between being on both sides, and what do you miss most about working in events?
Working in events was a lot of hours. Don't necessarily miss all of that, but I think the satisfaction you had at the end of working an event, knowing that everything went off for the most part successfully, maybe a big asterisk by that, but for the most part, everything goes off without a hitch, and you see all the people in the stadium or your venue that had a good experience, or getting those emails from people afterwards just saying how good of an experience they had at your event. That really makes it all worth it. All the thank you cards you would get for helping people out and stuff over the years was always really rewarding. Obviously you get that a little bit working on the vendor side, and our goal is really to help our clients put on those same type of special moments for everyone. So even though you're not in it as much as you used to be, if you're working the actual event, it is nice to still have that connection and know that you're playing a small part in making a good event successful.
You had shared you were in Chicago at Ravinia Festival, and you saw James Taylor. Yes. First time you were at that venue?
First time I was there. It was probably the best place, minus Red Rocks, which is still like my all-time favorite venue, but take that away, it is probably the best venue for outdoor music. The weather was not great. It was kind of rainy, and that was not ideal, but just like, it's so unique. There's not really anything else like it, to have just this big lawn space and elaborate picnics and fancy dinners that people will bring in, and just such a really cool venue, and it was great to experience.
And you're I can't imagine, I don't want to assume, but you're probably not a huge James Taylor fan, which I think begs the question, like, creating a unique event experience matters more sometimes than the content itself. Yeah. And so, I think that's one thing that's so important about just all these event organizations and all these events that are put on is that it does feel like there's infinite competition, and there's so many options for consumers. Yeah. But if you can create something that's different, that's unique, then people will want to come experience that thing because it's one of one. And again, I know you've been to a lot of unique events, but it's cool to hear that, again, even the content on stage or the concert at that moment just was secondary to the uniqueness of what Ravinia Festival did.
Yeah, and not to diminish James Taylor, he put on a great show, but it was cool even just looking out and seeing this, lawn of 7,500 people or whatever it was, and even if everyone wasn't always listening to the music, they were just like in the moment, It was summertime in Chicago. It was, hopefully nicer weather than when I was there. But just seeing like the looks on everyone's faces, you could tell that it was just like a really special and unique experience for them. So yeah, even if it's not your favorite show or you're like the best game you wanted to go to or whatever, like having that connection, I think, with everyone in a big group like that just really made it a really unique experience and really cool to see.
It's always a good reminder of the human connection too. And so to segue into, I'm just curious, based on your vantage point, because you work with lots of organizations and see things from from outside the event perspective, what trends or challenges are you kind of seeing? Are you waking up every day thinking about that, that you think that, event marketers specifically need to have at the front of their mind, and maybe Eventacle can help with?
Yeah, I think one of the challenges, and this has probably been since we kind of come out of the pandemic and everyone was itching to get back out there, whether it was to go to the theater or see a concert or an event or even to travel or however they wanted to spend their money and get that human connection. There's so much to compete with outside of just your traditional, competitors in the industry or whatever. So and with how easy it is to get access to quality streaming events, and the list goes on and on. So I think it's really important to just understand, what makes your audience tick. One of the things when I worked in a box office that we were blunt in telling our ticket holders and our fans was like, we're not going to try to sell you into a subscription or a season ticket. If it makes more sense for you to just come to one event a year, that's what we want to make sure that you find the right event for you and you have a good experience and you're a good extension of our organization to your neighbors and friends and everyone else you talk to. And ultimately, we want to make sure that you have a successful relationship with us. So a lot of it is just really figuring out, how you can have that relationship with your customer base, knowing there's going to be a variety of different ways that can happen. And even if it's someone who might not necessarily be in your backyard, but still keeps tabs on your organization, not neglecting them because they can be just as important as someone who's coming to multiple events a year. So certainly can be a little bit of a challenge, but I think it's really important just to understand who your customer base is and how they can be successful in interacting with you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not every consumer is going to be on that same path. And I think too often, whether you're a philanthropic organization or you're trying to sell subscriptions or season tickets, it's okay for kind of people to be on their own journeys with your organization. And absolutely, that's good. That's good wisdom. Why do you think people should consider joining the Eventacle community?
I think it's a great resource to have. You can make it kind of what you want. You can join in the discussion boards or just come to one of the happy hours or whatever. You can really make it, whatever's best for you. And I think it's a chance to really pick other people's brains, even if it's something outside of your industry. One thing that I always try to remind myself of is, it doesn't hurt to look at what others in different industries or different parts of the country or the world are doing, because it's always something you can tie back to your organization and your job. So being able to connect with others in different segments and different industries, just to get that different perspective, I think can go a long way.
Zach, thanks for joining the Eventacle community. We'll see you inside.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.